Hello everybody, let's have a look at XRP then, shall we? So the reason I'm looking at XRP these days is because I decided to buy some XRP when it came down to this level here. Now I wasn't picking it up at 20 cent, I picked it up around 21 cent. However, I do have a very strong feeling that we're going to come back down to 20 cent again. So I'm going to be looking to pick some more up, and not only that, depending on the way that, Bitcoin is looking, I'll be looking to maybe go long on it. We're having significant bounces at this level. This is a bounce like caught by people like me that basically see that this is a definite Black Friday opportunity for a coin like XRP, which doesn't necessarily have sky high aspirations. There's a lot of people saying, oh, it could go to, some people saying ridiculous things like $100 or whatever. I mean, I don't see any evidence for that, but I'm not writing off XRP. Like I say, I've joined the crew now, part of the army. I'm going to be trading this way. By trading it on Bybit, I'm accumulating it. So my expectations of XRP is that it will end up meeting its all-time high again within the next 2 years. So that's a pretty good deal to me to be buying it at this level. It may not do that, but my expectation is that it probably will reach its all-time high again within 2 years. So just by buying it anyways is okay, but my plan is to accumulate a little bit more when it comes down to this level, and I'll go into a little detail as to why it's going to do that, and it may even come down lower than that into the teens, I'd say between 15, which would be very low, more like 16, between 16 and maybe even just as low as, a little bit lower of 20, about 19 cent. It's all dependent on Bitcoin. Okay, so by trading XRP, I am currently going to be looking at Bitcoin at the moment. XRP will begin to make its own trends eventually, but at the moment it's basically shadowing the way that Bitcoin moves, and because of that, you're better off looking at Bitcoin and the way that Bitcoin moves to anticipate the moves that XRP moves. XRP will take on its own form, because clearly this isn't the way that Bitcoin looks, is it? Bitcoin does not look like that. When you zoom out of it, Bitcoin looks like that. So a very different chart. But currently it's moving in the same way, and that's mostly in its downward direction. XRP hasn't needed much encouragement to go down this year, unfortunately. It's what it's been doing best, in fact. But that won't last forever. It will begin to go up, and my intention is to ride those waves all the way up. I'm not looking to short XRP anymore. I'm looking to buy it back, buy some more outright, and go long when the opportunity arises. We are going to be reaching a bottom with both Bitcoin and XRP, not immediately, but at some point soon. So let's have a look at Bitcoin then and work out what the hell's going on with it. So Bitcoin, and again, like I say, the reason I focus on Bitcoin with XRP is because we need to anticipate the bottom for both coins. The bottom for both coins will most likely come together, because Bitcoin is the dictator of the market and the overall health of the market, and XRP hasn't been able to break out of that and cause its own direction. So Bitcoin is in this descending trend, which we've been in all this time. Since the summer, we've been rejected every time we come close to this descending trend. You can see every single time, apart from this time, which doesn't count, but it was the candle body closed beneath the descending trend, and these was just the you can see how unhealthy that was. It was just little bits of FOMO of, I'll probably say, uneducated or very brave traders trying to continue this move, which would never have happened. All you needed to go by was the fact that we closed the day underneath the descending trend. It was a no-go area unless you're looking to short this. Anyway, that aside, we're back within the descending trend now, and we've been rejected from it 2 occasions yesterday and the night before, and that rejection yesterday was pretty nasty. But that's to be expected, because there's a few reasons why this wants to continue going down. And again, I'm just explaining this because we're looking to catch XRP at its bottom. So where's the bottom going to be? I'll skip to the chase. Okay, there's many indications as to why Bitcoin's going down. Okay, let's just face it. If you want to watch more videos on that, I've got several videos on Bitcoin. They all say the same thing. I just repeat myself over and over again. They've got lots of reasons why Bitcoin is going to continue to go down. So anyway, we're going to be continuing to going down, and the likelihood is we're going to be in this descending triangle, testing the descending resistance level. We could break above it, and that would be great, but chances are we won't. We'll be bouncing around within it, and we'll break down beneath this level here, which was the 6,500 level, which we were catapulted from on our first attempt, and that was, some people call it dead cat bounce. Essentially, I suppose that's what it was, but it's again the same reason that I bought XRP, is because it was down at a significantly low level, and there's a lot of people that like Bitcoin more than XRP, and they did exactly the same for that. So that's fair enough to them. It was a move which was always going to happen, but now the party's over and the hangover has begun, and we're going to be coming back down to test this level again, and then probably bounce again, and then down again, and bounce. But every time we hit this resistance, it's obviously a lower level, keeping us going down and down and down, like it has done throughout the summer months into the autumn, and continuing into the winter now. And then we will find our way being sandwiched in the this descending triangle before we probably break down beneath it. And underneath here, what do we have again? We have another little descending triangle, a little wedge there forming, and then that will happen again. But it's at this level, because this can't go on forever, because if this descending trend goes on and on and on, we will find our way to zero. Now we may break down from here. There's no reason why we wouldn't, but I'd find it very unlikely that we'd break down from this level. This level would be the last. I would say that I'm not going to safely call anything, but an educated guess would tell me that this would be the bottom if we made it down this low. It could be anywhere within this zone, to be honest with you. It could only be 5,500 or so, which would be right in the centre of it. But we can't say that we're going to go bullish on this until we've broken out this descending trend with a candle body close outside of it, which is something other than these little FOMO things, which don't count, that we actually haven't had since the summer. We've not had it. The descending trend began in the summer, so we've not done it ever. It's not been broken. And like I say, this doesn't count. That will give us an indication that we're going to go bullish again, and that would give us an indication that actually the bottom is in for Bitcoin, and you could make the argument at that point that the bottom would be in for XRP. I'm waiting for this area to break, which would probably bring Matic, I follow Matic religiously, so sorry for that, but XRP is likely to be breaking down beneath its lowest level, which would have been 20 cent, and then it will be going down into the teens. And you can't measure these exactly the same, but this would be the 20 cent, roughly speaking, the 20 cent area for XRP. This being around about 14 cent, I'd say, roughly speaking. But depending on where Bitcoin goes and where it reverses from, if it goes down this low, it was definitely going to bounce, and I would be thinking of buying Bitcoin and XRP down at this level. When Bitcoin hits this lowest level of 4,900, in a nutshell, let's say, XRP will be brought down with it, and whatever the value is with XRP at the time could quite easily be its bottom. And then it's at that point that XRP will have a giant bounce. Again, same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably going to be having a bounce. There's a few ways it could play out. Bitcoin could just accumulate for months within this level, but the bottom would be in, and we could say, okay, right, buying it here would be a a realistically educated guess at a bottom and an okay, perhaps maybe investment. Chances are it could fall down, but it's more likely that it will eventually break out of that at that level. That is the goal for XRP. So we're talking about sub 20 cent levels with XRP once again. That could happen any moment, really. Perhaps we'll be looking at that maybe next week or so. Maybe by this time next week that would have happened. And again, this could all completely not happen at all, but when you've got a chart that looks like this, XRP is looking very, 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 very bearish. There's no indicators on XRP to say that it's anything other than bearish. It's going to be Bitcoin's moves to the down are only going to be amplified by XRP. So you know, we could be looking to short this, but I'm not going to bother. I'm more interested in keeping my XRP equity available to catch those bounces, and my first try will be to buy it at 20 cent, depending on the situation with Bitcoin, but my first opportunity would be buy it around that level. And if it falls down beneath there, yeah, I will have a stop loss certainly at around about 19, so I'll lose a little bit, but that's fine, because I'm more than happy to be picking it up at lower levels, because like I say, the chances are we might be finding our bottom, and to catch XRP at its absolute bottom would be an absolute gem. That's the goal, that's the end game for XRP for me. And like I say, I'm not emotionally invested in XRP. I like it, it's okay, it's alright, it's just a coin to me. It's an opportunity more than anything, and this is one of those opportunities I really don't want to miss. When things go down, I get excited. When things go up, I get really excited, but there's nothing better than when it goes down to its absolute bottom and you buy it and then it goes back up. That's it. So I'm as happy with it going down as I am with it going up, because eventually it's going to go down to a bottom, and that's what you want to pick up, and that's what we want to be focusing on at the moment. We will be reaching a bottom relatively soon, within a few months I would say. The bottom will be in, and if you've caught that bottom, well done to you, and let's hope that we catch that bottom together. So again, 20 cent would be my first opportunity. If that breaks down, fine, I'll take a hit. 19 would be my next. If that breaks down, fine, I'll take a hit. The key is to stare in the face of Bitcoin and see where that takes us. And again, Bitcoin's bottom is likely to be 4,900, and if XRP is at whatever level when Bitcoin hits that level, we might be able to safely call that a bottom. Anyway, I hope that was somewhat interesting for you, made some sense to you. There's a lot of since joining the XRP army, I've watched a few videos on XRP, and there's a whole range of people saying all kinds of stuff, and it's difficult to work out who's there. Everyone sounds so convincing. Do you know what I mean? I watched a video yesterday, and I generally don't watch videos of analysis. I'm not a fundamental type person, so all that kind of stuff can be quite interesting to me. But people call in $100 XRP. I mean, if that was the case, just even with the little bag that I've got right now, I mean, it would just be unbelievable. But to be able to trade that, to be able to, just even with a 1 or 2x leverage on anything from a 20 cent area or a 16 cent area, could you imagine how much money you'd have by the time we got to there? Anyway, like I say, there's a lot of people saying a lot of crazy stuff on the internet about XRP. It's got a very big following, I appreciate that. But let's try and be realistic about it. It's following Bitcoin's moves to the down. Bitcoin's looking like it's going to bottom out eventually at some point in the next month or two. XRP is likely to be bottoming out as well. So that's it's as simple as that. And then we can talk about prices as we start to make higher highs. Currently we're just making lower lows, so we can only speculate on its lows at the moment, not on its highs. Anyway, have a nice evening. Have a nice weekend, and it's 1st of December, so have a good Christmas. Take it easy.